And as we talked about our employees just a moment ago with the various flags hanging, and we're very, supportive of our employees. They are who we are here at Replacements, and we recognize so many things. We've talked about our pets. We encourage employees and customers to bring their pets on site. We're recognizing here some of the milestone anniversaries for various people, usually at the 1-year mark, the 5-year, or beyond on that part. The wall here below, and we can look at that in a few moments. Anybody who's been here for at least 20 years of employment is photographed and recognized on our wall. And we have more than, let me look at my numbers, 230 employees who have been here for more than 15 years, and more than 150 employees have been here for 20 years. We're very proud of the fact that our average tenure at Replacements is more than 17 years now. So our employees come to work here and they stay and enjoy working on this part.
Wow.
We have a wonderful wellness area where we have nurses on site here to help us with various things. We have a fitness center. We have an arcade for folks to go and have a little bit of fun during the day. We're just very pleased with our employees.
And Lisa, a minute ago you were talking about your dogs getting out one year and being...
Oh, listen.
Tell that story again.
When you have dogs and you go to the trouble of microchipping them and getting them a tag and all that, and then they get out.
Yes.
Especially on a farm. We looked the farm high and low, couldn't find them. And someone called us from here because they had a tag with the phone number and said, I'm so-and-so from Replacements. Do you have 2 labs that are missing? And I started crying.
Oh, my.
Because we had been looking for them. And sure enough, they had them here. And they kept it. They said, you don't have to rush. If you're at work, we'll hold on to them till you get here. And sure enough, they did.
Oh, my goodness.
I mean, who does that these days, right?
Well, we would do that here at Replacements. So
it's so nice.
We're very animal friendly, and we love our animals here. We had, was it a blue heron recently, Casey, as that it was? We had an injured blue heron end up on our property just a few weeks ago, and we were trying to, nurse it back to health. It was not working, and one of our employees was aware of a facility outside of Charlotte, close to Monroe, and he ended up taking some time and driving that blue heron to that facility to help nurse it back, and so it's just amazing.
Keith, can you repeat about the charitable work that's being done as well when you were talking about habitat?
Absolutely. So we are very involved in the community. We'll talk about Bob's Closet in a few moments, which is our on-site clothing charity and what that does and means to us here at Replacements. But we're very involved with Habitat for Humanity locally. We have built now 3 houses specifically. Every 5 years for that monumental anniversary, we have built a house. And then in the off years of that, we continue to help and support. In fact, we're working on another house with some other businesses this year as well. And we support many social causes and things in our community.
And I grabbed photos earlier of all the flags, and you were saying how many?
There are more than 40 flags now, and that represents the birthplace of all of our employees here on site. So we have people from all over the country, all over the world, working with us. And once we learn and understand the country where they were born, we launch and erect a flag here in the warehouse.
That's great.
To honor that.
That's awesome. Thank you.
All right, we're walking into the main portion of our warehouse. We have more than 60,000 shelves full of tableware along the way. It's arranged. We have, if we start on the left side and come across, so there are 49 sections of shelves, and then they are arranged from floor to ceiling and by row numbers on that. And so every piece that is represented on the shelf has been assigned that in our computer, so that when folks need to pull an item for an order, they can easily come to this shelf location, hopefully find it, and get it out to our customers.
Right. I was so impressed when Anita shared with us how quickly the turnaround is for or jewelry.
Yes.
Is the turnaround time equally impressive?
It is. In most cases, I would say in non-holiday, non-peak times, shipping, we'll get an order today, and a lot of times it will be shipped out tomorrow.
That's awesome.
So,
now we all compete with Prime.
Absolutely we do.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So
I
you've
ordered
got
something
to do
from
that.
Prime. Oh, I ordered a dog collar.
Yeah.
Because I'm sending my dog to training. Because she's
Love that.
out of out of control.
Oh, my goodness.
And it came the same day.
Wow.
And I was shocked.
Yeah.
I was shocked.
So some people would ask, is there any rhyme or reason? I was told, maybe true or not, that we actually did start with trying to organize the warehouse when we first moved here to the original location here on this property in 1989. There was a section for Lennox, a section for Wedgwood. That quickly became impossible to continue because we were getting new patterns in all the time. You would constantly have to move things. Wow. And so at this point in time, our goal is to make sure that, whatever item it has a shelf location and it is recorded into our computer system so that everybody can find them quickly.
And how important is tech here?
Absolutely.
Oh my. Talk about the cutting edge of tech.
Right.
Has to be.
Yeah.
This is so cool. Oh, here's your stemware.
There's a little bit of it, yeah.
I'm gonna bring that piece of stemware and
Okay.
match it.
Absolutely. I'll show you a little trick when we get around to the other side.
Okay.
Not a trick. A
You
new
know what?
feature,
I actually
I
should
should
take
say.
a picture of it and send it to Mary Lynn and say, hey,
No,
you have this?
no.
Oh, there's another trick.
Yes.
Oh, I love tricks.
Yes. I'm going to show you that trick when we get into our
Silly
research area.
rabbit, tricks are for kids.
That's right. You're going to love it. You're going to go home and do it.
I'm definitely showing my age to repeat that commercial.
It's okay.
Am I not?
That's all right.
And how many employees did you say total?
375, I believe, is where we are right now. We've had as many as 750 years ago. But you mentioned tech. We've become, much more efficient with our operations, and we've been able to do more with less. Never laid off or any of that, but we've just gotten smarter about how we work.
When I tell you that I would not be doing what I'm doing without knowing Janet Balcom, I'm not kidding, because the tech part of, I've learned so much and I feel much more confident now thanks to her. But when you can't fix a tech problem and you know that people are looking at your stuff immediately, it is so frustrating.
Right.
It's so frustrating.
Yeah. We have a wonderful tech team here that manages our website, our in-house operations. We've designed our own system for our inventory and things like that, and it's just continued to expand and improve throughout the years.
I cannot even imagine the magnitude of y'all's tech. Can't imagine.
It's impressive.
No kidding.
I'll be a little modest.
I'm pretty impressed with the whole thing here, Keith.
It's amazing. Sometimes we always learn something new. I mean, as I said, I've been here for 31 years, but you're constantly learning something.
Yeah.
So this portion of our warehouse, we refer to it as our high efficiency area. And what we've done here is move these shelves farther apart so we can have a couple of ladders here in the rows. Multiple people can be in these areas, either reshelving or pulling orders, things like that. We house I think it's 900 of our most popular tableware patterns. It represents about 40 to 45% of our total tableware business. Those patterns are housed in this area. And we're able to work in here, pull orders quickly, get them out much faster than that.
Nice.
And you'll see some of the favorite patterns in here as we walk through.
I love that. I love the colors in this.
Love this pattern. Yeah.
And it's even got wine glasses too. Love it.
So pretty.
My kitchen is that color.
Oh, really?
The color of butter.
It's pretty. Little teapot.
Isn't that cute?
I don't break it as I pull it.
Don't you dare, baby. You'll be in trouble.
There we go.
Gorgeous.
Pretty.
Isn't it? I love the sunflowers.
Yeah. And you see lots of it. We will have expanded amounts of inventory for each of these patterns too, because they are popular. They're turning over. We're pulling orders from this area or these areas quickly.
Can I ask you a quick question?
Absolutely.
You may cover it later.
Okay.
I know there's a yard sale or something that you do once a year, and if I had a nickel for every time somebody stopped me while I was mowing my yard that said, "We're here from so-and-so place, we need to find replacements. And I had to tell them, because, you know, the service road, you can only enter from
Right.
Mount Hope Church Road. Anyway, so I need to know about that. And I think my viewers need to know about it.
Well, we don't have it every year, and
Okay.
we're not having one this year. We had one last year, and we have these yard sales where, you know, we have multiple items that they just don't live up to our quality standards, so we will put them away, and we will bring them out for folks to shop in our yard sale.
On site.
On site when we have it,
But what
usually in September.
What a great way to get stuff
Absolutely.
for like your college kid that you know they're going to break it
Right.
or that it might not come back home.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
We have people coming in. What we typically do, there'll be a small admission charge per person, and then you would buy a box to fill. And you can fill that box as full as you want with things from the event. And there's usually, I think we put out 225 pallets of dinnerware on our
bet
west
it's
parking lot.
crawling,
And it is. And we have people, I love that you guys stopped and asked, but we have people from all over the country.
Yes, you do.
Canada.
Yes, you
coming
do.
to visit us
Yes,
for
you
this
do.
event. So it's so funny. I think somebody told me that they cut their vacation in Miami short so they could be here on site for the yard sale.
Yeah.
Well, we
People-
have a lot of Nova Scotians who travel to Florida in the
Yes.
winter.
Yes.
So North Carolina, you know, they pass
Perfect
through,
stop.
right?
Exactly.
Yeah. Now, could you say to the viewers about the tours that the public is invited
Absolutely.
into?
Just like we're taking this tour through our facility, we offer free tours to customers, shoppers who would like to come in of the facility. So you'll walk the same route that we are today, and those are available from 10 a.m. until 4 p.m. every day that we're open, which is Monday through Saturday, closed on Sundays and holidays.
Thank you.
So this is an area we refer to as our bulk storage. This particular part of our warehouse can contain a little over 14,000 pallets of merchandise. We will buy extra pieces of some of our most popular patterns, and we will place them here in long-term storage. We may have some pieces that aren't selling as quickly, and we may store them here. But all in all, it's just a wonderful facility for simply that, buying more tableware to have for our customers.
And what a good example Bob Page is as to follow your dream, start your own
Absolutely.
business, you know, live out what you were
Right.
all that.
Absolutely. And you can look behind you here.
Because didn't it start in a garage?
It did not start, it started in his attic.
In his attic.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
And if you can kind of see from one end of the building all the way back to the back. And we have more than 500,000 square feet here now in this operation, in this warehouse.
And they're my neighbors.
That's right. We're right around the corner from Lisa.
And they're my neighbors.
Yes, Bob started the business, like I said, in 1981. It was in his house, in the attic space of his home. He was in
Wow.
Greensboro, and then moved around a couple of times until he bought property here in 1989, which we've been here ever since. Okay.
So tell me what's the criteria
We work with more than 50 agencies throughout the triad.
Come on.
Let me see if Ashley's here. Yes, she is.
Hey,
Ashley. Come toot the horn about.
the clap. It's
Hi,
nice
so
to
nice
meet
to
you.
see you. Yes.
This is Janet from Nova Scotia.
Hello. Well, welcome. This is Bob's Closet, and basically we work with different organizations in the area.
We're going to get really close to you because my
Oh,
viewers
I'm
want
sorry.
to hear you.
Okay.
You don't have to speak up. It's just the camera.
All right. To distribute clothing to the individuals in our community who are in need. And yeah, so we try to provide a week's worth of clothing, which is usually about 25 items that include coats, shoes, undergarments, and then dresses, all of these wonderful items you can see here.
Well, think about somebody who has a fire
Yes,
and
absolutely.
loses everything.
Absolutely, and they are welcome to come. We get people calling about those sort of things,
So
and
they do need to come here, like they have to come on site.
not necessarily.
Okay.
A lot of times we have volunteers or case managers who will come to pick up clothing. Yeah, for
That's
people
awesome.
who, yes, it's really, really wonderful.
Now, who are you working with in our county?
Yeah, absolutely. We're working a lot right now with the refugee population.
Nice.
We work with Church World Services, North Carolina African Services Coalition, and Faith Action to service those people. And we have wonderful partners. We just had a family of 7 from Africa out. And yes, and they had their kids with them and everything. They have a bike. They have, that Bob had gotten a bike, and I'm going to get another one because the little one, when he saw the big one's bike, Tears, just tears. Yes. So I'm going to go and buy him a bike and then deliver it to them once they get into their apartment. They're in a temporary hotel for right now.
Gotcha.
Yeah. And then we have some Afghan refugees in right now.
That's
yeah.
awesome.
Mm-hmm.
You know, I work for Greensboro Urban Ministries Dental Clinic.
How wonderful.
And I've been in Guilford County all my life, and you really don't understand the need
It's true. It's
until
true.
you see it.
Yes.
And of course, I was working on their teeth. But they tell you
wonderful.
everything when they have a toothache. They tell you, I'm living in a hotel, I have 5 children, my husband left, I don't have any education, I'm cleaning the rooms for money, and I mean, you just want to take your clothes off and give it to them.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
But you don't have
I
to.
don't
You
know
can come
if
to
they
Bob's Closet.
Exactly.
I'm so
I don't know
glad
if
to
they would
know
want
about
that,
this. This
Yes.
is awesome,
but yes.
and Guilford County needs it.
Yeah, absolutely.
What's the number of agencies we're working with now? You told me it was like 40 to 50?
Oh, yeah, we work with over 50.
Wow.
Some of them are very small people who are out there doing things like Bags of Love, where they're giving out, handing people that they see, you know, on the corners and different things.
Our
socks.
church does that.
Yeah, it's great. And then, you know, also partnering with people like Family Charities, Rockingham Family Charities
Nice.
to share donations that we get. So they might get a different type of clothing donation than we get. We will share the donations that we get with them, and they share with us as well.
Who knew?
Yeah.
I knew Bob Page was a good person because they house my
Yes,
dogs
ma'am.
and everything. but wow,
Her dogs got loose one day, and somebody from Replacements called her to say they had them over here.
Oh
so we were
my
holding
gosh.
them.
my
Are
husband
you
farms
kidding?
the property that we could be neighbors. We are
Yes.
neighbors. So, yeah.
That's so wonderful.
Tell Lisa and Janet's followers how this all got started with Bob and what he
yeah.
does.
Yes. So Bob, basically it was started with Triad Health Project. He was working with people who, you know, were struggling with HIV, and what he was doing was personally shopping for them. He was
Wow.
going to, he loves to find a deal, so he was going to secondhand, trying to find name brands, and you know, when he would do that, he would come back and we would see these boxes like right behind you. These type of boxes we would fill with items for them, including like socks, coats, whatever season it was, very specific items. And then our facility team would take it over to Higher Ground, the house that Bob has established also as a meeting and gathering place
Wow.
for the people. And they would pick it up and when they were there gathering.
Nice.
So from there, it sort of grew to having a luncheon for a lot of the different nonprofits in the area, and just establishing contact and saying, hey, we're here if you need us.
How awesome.
Yeah, so
this.
we're serving probably about 60 people a week. Last year we served over 2,000 people, and another
More than 50,000 pieces of clothing.
Yes,
I think She told
absolutely.
me that
Yes.
last week, and I was so
So now,
amazed.
Yes.
actually, what if I clean out my closet? Can I bring my stuff here?
yes, ma'am.
There you go. Motivation
Absolutely,
right
absolutely. There you go, and it will go out the door. Believe me, and people are very thankful.
There. That's wonderful.
Yes.
Love this.
Thank you,
Aw,
Ashley.
thank you very much.
Very
you.
nice to
So
meet you.
nice to meet you.
Yeah.
Yes.
All right, so we're in our main inventory area here at Replacements. We can process, I was told, around 7,500 pieces of inventory every day. We get about 35 to 38,000 pieces of inventory each day. We get them in from a variety of sources. We get them from individuals who no longer, desire to keep the particular pattern or pieces that they may have. We work with a network of around 450 independent suppliers, and we provide them with the various prices of what we will pay for pieces, and they're out in the marketplaces all over the country and Canada, and we'll look to see some of the patterns that we may be in need of, and they will purchase the items and send it back to us. These folks are unboxing, inspecting everything, checking them for quality, making sure there are no chips or cracks, and just making sure that everything is in really good working and standing for our customers. And it's just amazing the amount of work that goes on here in this area.
Phenomenal. There's the flags in the background too.
Okay. Yes, here are our lovely flags. Again, like I said, that represents birthplaces from where our employees came from. We have more than 40 of these flags hanging now. People who are working at Replacements came from all over the world, who were born in other parts of the world. always want to stop for a moment and talk about our sustainability efforts here at Replacements. First of all, this big, huge solar panel represents this farm of panels that are located on the top of our building. We've been told that we can power the neighborhood that's behind us with this, and we're very proud of that. We've had that now for more than 5 years on top of our newer part of the building. We have electric vehicle charging stations on site, one in the front of the showroom, one here in the back of our building as well, for folks who want to come in and take a moment to charge their vehicle. And as we sit in our shipping area, I would say 95% of our packaging materials are all recyclable, including our noodles and things like that. There's a very small percentage that are not, because we reuse everything, and that might include some things that people ship to us. And so we want to just be careful about how we always say that. So we're at another spot on our tour route that showcases some of our more rare and unique pieces. Some of the pieces along the way here. These pieces of Noritake Azalea, which is a pattern that was given away in boxes of detergent from the Larkin Soap Company starting back in the 1920s. Some of them are quite collected, some of them not so much. There's a dinner plate, I think, now that we sell in this collection for around $19.99. But this children's tea set that's shown here is valued between $3,000 and $3,500 now. It's highly collected on that part.
Wow.
And there's just other little things, the little toast rack in the back, little cereal sets, things that you just don't typically see from some of the more common tableware patterns. We always like to point out this beautiful little Corel cereal bowl. This was one of our items years ago. The producers from Oprah called us and said that they were working on, I think it was how she put it, the Wildest Dreams segments on her show, and they had a customer or a person write in and just basically say, I want to get my mother's plates replaced or bowls replaced. I always think about that. So she needed a cereal bowl. We sent that to her. The person was just absolutely thrilled, and that mere mention on Oprah generated probably close to $1 million in sales that year. It was fantastic.
I watched that segment.
Did you
Yes,
really?
I did.
Oh my goodness.
Yes, I did.
The bottom row represents some of the more unique items in some of our silver patterns. You may see a bacon fork, a sardine fork, lettuce, pickle. There's a fork for everything. So
What's the bacon for?
the bacon fork, I think, is right there. Am I seeing that right, Casey?
Pickle. I think it's lettuce, cake, olive.
Yeah, it was down here the other day. Oh, right in front of us. Right here.
Oh,
Yeah,
right there.
bacon.
Right there. Lord, who knew?
Yeah.
Bacon fork.
I
one's a
love this
lemon
collection.
fork.
No kidding. Look at the fish fork. Okay, what's that one? Pie fork. Oh, Janet, your pie would be so good on that fork.
And look at this butter pick.
Love some of these more unusual, unique items. I was telling you when we were at the beginning of the showcase or showroom, we had pieces from Fostoria American, and these are some of the serving pieces that were made in that collection, and some of the more rare pieces. Some of the items you just don't see. We have a lot of people who love our little cotton dispenser bunny with a little cotton ball
isn't
coming
that
out the little cotton
cute?
tail.
Oh,
So
that is
cute.
cute.
I love the little doggy in the back. And there's a chamber pot even. Everybody needed one of those back in the day.
They did.
So,
They did. Thank goodness they had them.
yeah.
Oh, cool. This is where all of your...
Another stop on our tour for patrons who come here to Replacements. They'll see a lot of tableware that has been featured on various TV shows and movies along the way that are some of our dish detectives have spotted. Some right here in front of you. You can see the ivy. We talked about that in the Top 500 hallway. Was on the I Love Lucy. The Willow Blue was on the Andy Griffin Show. And we always love pointing out this beautiful little Glenmere by Waterford sherbet by Waterford. Several years ago, the producers of one of the Fancy Feast commercials contacted us and said, "Oh my goodness, our cat tipped over the sherbet and we're filming commercials, and can you help us?" And so we overnighted a couple more of these sherbets to save the day, so to speak.
That's wonderful.
But for anybody who come and see, you'll see quite a few pieces here. So we do offer some pieces here that we refer to them as handcrafted, where we've taken a piece and we've actually created something out of those pieces to accommodate customer request. And the biggest example of this happens to be our top selling piece, which is our 3-tiered server here in the middle. Back, I would say, the late 90s, we had so many requests for this pattern. So many people, English manufacturers would make these for tea and other events, but it was really hard to come by. And several of our folks just said, this is kind of crazy. All it is there's a hole drilled in those plates. We can do that. And so we kind of tested it and almost immediately put that together, and then we bought the hardware, the implements to create that, and it's been our best seller ever since. And we've created multiple pieces through here. There's a 2-tiered server on the other end that's quite popular. From a flatware perspective, we do quite a bit of work there. We can take a tablespoon or a teaspoon and flatten those out and create a slotted piece for patterns that you may not find those. And even here in some of these where a steak knife is our most requested flatware pattern, and there are so many patterns that steak knives were just not made. And all it is changing the blade. So we have a talented team of silversmiths that we'll talk about in a few moments, and they do that for our customers.
I love
Wonderful.
this.
Yes, at Replacements, we have a very talented team of silversmiths, and we offer silver restoration to the public. Here are some of the pieces that you can see that have been either repaired or brought back to life, so to speak. This is an individual who's been with us for many years, a very talented silversmith who's helped train many apprentices here. He's soldering a candelabra back together. You can kind of see some of the work that we can do with, like here, with where this is very tarnished. The piece here, the lid, it was broken, and we put this back on, the little handle and things like that. And then here we can even polish and replate items, and you can see some of the work there. It's just a very talented group of people, and we offer, as I said, this service to the public. And if you want to move right next door, you can kind of see some of the other pictures of things, and we can talk about those. So sometimes this is a very sentimental piece of it, where we've had a baby cup that was badly damaged and we brought that back to life. Well, that was somebody's baby cup, so there's that factor on it. We've been able to put little feet back onto these pieces. We were talking about blade replacements, where some of these things have deteriorated. Some of them were silver-plated blades. They don't hold up. We can come back in with other silver-plated blades or bring in stainless blades. We're able to take care of that. This, I believe, was a set that belonged to a family along the Gulf Coast. I can't ever remember where, but it was after one of the hurricanes. They thought their silver was lost. They found it out on the beach or somewhere along the way. They found all the pieces, sent it to us, and we were able to restore that for them.
Wow.
It's amazing.
So that service you provide to the general public?
We do it for both internally as well as for the general public. Absolutely.
Good to know.
Yeah.
Excellent.
Talented team of people.
No kidding.
Talented team. And most of our orders for flatware are always come through our polishing room, unless you prefer it not to be polished, and you can designate that on your order. But our folks will polish these, commercially polish them to the point where it's as if the manufacturer delivered them to you. It's beautiful work that they do. Museum area at Replacements. And first of all, I'd like to point out, we talked about some of the showcases that have come from all over the country. This collection of showcases came from a jeweler we believe came from Tulsa, Oklahoma. Some of the cases were stamped Indian Territory, which tells us that these pieces were created before 1880.
Wow.
But they're beautiful pieces, and these wonderful marble ball, claw foot pieces here. But they're holding quite a few collections that are very sentimental to us here at Replacements, including some manufacturer tags where a lot of the companies back in the 40s, 50s, and 60s would create patterns, and they would actually create porcelain or bone china advertising signs, and we have collected those along the way. Over on this side, you'll see a collection of cordials. Those represent a lot of the early glassware patterns, or maybe not early, but from the 30s and 40s and 50s, and where little cordials or little, dessert lines and things like that were made, and we've amassed a collection of those. I used to use them for identification purposes whenever I first came here. We had a large grouping of those, and we would say, Fostoria, for instance, might have a pattern where they would have one stem and one bowl, and then they would mix it up and have the bowl from one and going on to another stem. So it was kind of like, go pick out the stem of yours, and then we can kind of go from there to identify what your pattern might be. Elsewhere in the museum, there are just such lovely pieces from all over. We have a lot of pieces from American glass or crystal manufacturers, especially from the Ohio River Valley area, like Fostoria, like Imperial, Heisey, and some of those others that have great historical significance in the tableware industry here in the country.
Just step over and have a look.
Yes. We walk behind. And like I said, these were some of the advertising signs that were made. I love these. I love to come back and look at them. You just don't see these anymore. Most brands do not create these like they did at one time.
I'm all about the cordials.
You like the cordials?
Well, I think they're pretty. I think I would be able to take off if you served me one.
Yeah, that was the problem. We're not doing that any longer.
Like, is this it?
I agree with you.
Definitely good for the whole pickle thing
Yeah.
I told you about.
There you go.
Can
I'm
you
not even
see
sure that's
us?
big enough for that, though. Do you?
Can you see us on the back of the Wake Forest
Exactly.
tailgate with our pinkies up
Right.
with the cordial?
I love it.
I mean, seriously.
We can all do.
Whoa, look at the size of this.
I know, isn't he handsome? The Merry Wanderer by Goebel. Isn't he great? He's about 3 feet tall. I love some of these pieces, some of the candlewick pattern. This was by Imperial Crystal. Again, you see the little ball around the edges of that, and I love this gold set. It's just beautiful for a punch, so it's overlaid with a gold finish there.
Did I understand you to say that this section is just the museum? It's not
This
for
is our
sale?
museum area, so we have many of these patterns available to sell, but
Oh,
we
you
have
do?
decided to hold on to a few pieces for
I
our own
understand.
collection to preserve that history and share that with everybody.
Yeah, because how beautiful is that?
Absolutely.
At a baby
Yeah.
shower that they're going
Right.
to have a girl?
Yep. Bob is really, he believes in preserving some of these historical patterns. When we go to the other side, you'll see some of the patterns from the California potteries that just aren't available, and
Well, it's a
those were very
complete-
meaningful to us.
It's a complete history lesson.
Absolutely.
That's why I
There were
asked you,
lots
would-
of tableware companies in this country
Yes.
in the 20th century that just don't exist anymore.
Well, that's why I asked you if school children come here. I know you would have to be careful with don't touch everything, but the history behind it.
Absolutely. We've definitely entertained, school trips. I told you about the accounting
Yes.
class that would come here.
I understand.
I love this piece. You all have seen Lincoln Town cars back in the 70s. The little opera window in the very back of the car was made by Tiffin. I love that. I'm a car buff, so
Wake
of course
Forest
I would.
colors.
There you go.
Go,
Love
Bob.
our Wake Forest.
Thanks,
That's
Bob.
right. And then here are some pieces from Cambridge.
Wow.
These are called the Cambridge Nudes. This was also a favorite collection of Bob's. These were really rare. Continue to be rare. We have quite a collection. We do have these available for sale now. But then there are some other pieces of moonlight blue in this. Some of these companies made the prettiest colors.
And I love that you paired it with hydrangeas.
Absolutely.
That's
Another little
gorgeous.
Hummel. Depression glass. A lot of people will not talk about that. That was an inexpensive, sometimes giveaway, sometimes purchases back in the day. Highly collected. There are people who just thrive on depression glass, and beautiful colors were made in this.
This is what I have displayed at
That's-
home on my mantle.
Oh, really? Wonderful. Wonderful.
Yeah.
Love the cherry blossom child's tea set there. And some of the other little children's pieces here.
I have this dish right here in the
That's
green,
beautiful.
Oh, lovely.
in that green color. Yeah.
Lovely.
We like color.
Good. And then just some British collectibles and things like that. Some figurines from Royal Worcester and some other pieces here
Wow.
that have just, they're impressive.
There's the queen.
Indeed.
I only know that because it's whole crown.
Uh-huh.
So if you like Bridgerton,
We love,
I
I
tell
love
them the fun
Bridgerton.
fact that I
Absolutely.
just did. So we have, this was a vase that was given to
a recreation, a replication of the base that Queen Charlotte and King George III, that was something that they had commissioned. But then this pattern down here was the Mecklenburg service that was presented by the royal family to royalty. But the person it was given to was Queen Charlotte's brother. The one, who was the, now I'm blanking on his name. The one that was in the most recent, the Bridgerton story.
That
Adolfo.
is so cool.
Not Adolfo. Yes, not Adolfo. I just did a Facebook post about it. But
I gotcha.
Yeah, so that they both have a history between the two.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
I haven't completed I'm not up to date on my Bridgerton. I've started the Charlotte, but I haven't finished it.
Perfect. Well, I won't give any spoilers, but that's for her brother. It was kind of a cool thing between the two. Yeah. We do a lot of that on our Facebook page.
You should.
And we'll walk this side.
And that, your customers can relate to it. Yeah, I get it. Look at the 3 little pigs.
I love those pieces. This case shows a lot of how things were actually made. Some of the production pieces, like there's a Lenox series of Lenox Autumn, a really popular pattern, but it all starts out with what they refer to as a biscuit plate, and then add a glaze, and then add the decoration to it, and then come back and actually do the hand painting. All that color and raised dots there are all hand done before it's fired for the final time. And then you can see some of the crystal that's been made, how things were lined up, and the cuts and various things were created here.
I have a question.
Uh-huh.
Now, if you have one, let's just say you have a random piece from an ancestor, and you don't know the story behind it. Can you bring it here and learn about, like you can say, hey, what is...
Absolutely.
Okay.
Well, first of all, use our visual search that we talked about. Take a picture of it, and sometimes there's actual history on the web quote there that talks about the pattern itself. But you can either call us or write in or bring it here, and we can talk about the history of it in a lot of cases.
I would love to know that.
Yeah.
Send us a message.
Yeah.
I love that.
That's right. Casey's doing lots of pattern history right now for people. It's been very popular with our followers.
If it's something unusual, or even if it's not, being able to find it and like respond on the video. And then,
We'll come here. We always love pointing out these. You know, at the beginning of our tour, we saw the blue and white collectible plates, the Christmas pieces from Royal Copenhagen and Bing & Grandel. So we have more of those on display here. But the patterns here along the bottom shelf also come from Royal Copenhagen. And the pattern here to the left is referred to as Flora Danica. It's all hand painted, all hand done. It's beautiful. These 2 patterns are probably the oldest 2 patterns that are still in production today, more than 200 years old, some even 250 years old. All hand painted, all the working and intricate details on the terrain there. This is similar to Botanic Garden, where there's a particular flower usually on each piece, and the Latin name of the flower is inscribed on the bottom or the back of the piece. The blue and white is called Blue Fluted. There are a couple of versions of this. One is called Blue Fluted Plain. Then there's Half Lace, which references some of the intricate working around the edge. Then there's one that's called Full Lace, which is very dainty and delicate and such. There's a newer pattern that is made from that. They've taken the basic flowers of the pattern and they call it Mega. What they've done is taken the design of that piece and has blown it up, but it's created this beautiful contemporary work, and it's quite popular now. I personally love that.
Wow.
And you can see some of the other things. Here's Heron Rothschild bird and some of the other beautiful patterns of herons. Some French pieces along the way. But this back wall, and I wanted to show that, and we'll walk around one other area. And this is what I was saying. Exactly, some of our early Fiesta. This whole wall is full of those potteries that were so popular in the 30s, 40s, and 50s. You'll see the autumn. Gracious, I can't even think about that. Casey, what's autumn leaf? How could I forget that pattern name? My goodness. The ballet pieces at the top. Some of the various Fiesta items here, Stengel items, these beautiful birds were created, some of their patterns, some of the pieces from Franciscan. This was another pattern that was only made for about 1 year with Franciscan. It's called Wildflower.
That's pretty.
We kept a lot of this. It was another favorite of Bob's.
That's pretty.
For years, and we were like, we have a lot of customers who want this, so we began selling some of the pieces and fulfilling orders on that. But again, you see some of the early pieces of ivy, apple, and desert rose. Those are very meaningful to us.
I love the apple.
And then even more from the California pottery, some of the metlocks, poppy trail, burn kilns, things like that you'll see. And then even around this side, some silver pieces behind you, some early pieces of Linux and how things were made again. And then we always love pointing out a few of our English pieces. Love this. Some of our Jasperware pieces. Love the telephone. Love the shoes. Everyone loves those. These were made in the 70s. I think it's when the time frame for ours came out. You know, rumor had it that these came with a little card for how a lady should walk in them to not break the heel. But then another person here said that's not true because there's actually a small steel piece inside reinforcing the heel so they will not break. But regardless, they're really cool, I think.
Very cool.
Tonquin Ruby, one of the more expensive discontinued patterns here, is absolutely beautiful. The beautiful gold appliques there is just amazing. And then a few pieces behind you. That's this lovely garden bench there that's in the blue and white. It was just absolutely gorgeous.
That is beautiful.
And then I'll end with our colossal gold age soup tureen, which is just absolutely exquisite. This pattern. This is a pattern that's still active. Very limited. We were told that only 5 of these were made in the world. We don't know that to be a fact, but that's what we were told. If you lift that lid, the entire pattern, the entire lid has the pattern on the inside.
Oh, wow.
It's beautiful, beautiful piece.
Wow.
So this kind of concludes our museum area. I hope your viewers had fun with us today. We invite you to come and visit with us.
So cool.
In McLeansville, replacements.com is our website. All the information. You can find out more about our museum, our showroom, and anything else you need on that.
Perfect. Thank you so much.
Absolutely,
Steve.
Lisa. Thank you so much. Thank you, Janet. Come back and visit with us
Cooking,
anytime.
cutting up, keeping it real, y'all. We're out.